Interested in partnering with the Coach Rob Show as a sponsor? Friends of the show are certainly welcome. For a detailed proposal of opportunities, send a quick email with partner in the subject line to CoachDrewRob2025@gmail.com. Did you know that Coach Rob does movie reviews? Here he is, telling you what's worth watching.
Okay, welcome back to the Coach Rob Show, final segment of the day, final segment of the week. As we get into the weekend, I want to mention a couple things about what I've been watching and what I think is worth watching. Sometimes I watch things and then I question if I just wasted time watching stuff. But there's a movie that came out earlier this year, right at the end of the summer, that I went to see with my my youngest Luke, who's in college now, and it is. It was just a really tremendous movie. One of the things I haven't talked about in a while, just to sort of set the expectation up front, I really believe that what makes a movie great is a movie that changes you, a movie that gives you something that sticks with you, whether it's an element of surprise, an element of just something that's unique that you haven't seen before, possibly, just incredible scenery, incredible music, incredible performances, but probably one of the best films, if not the best film of the year, that I found to be just tremendous was the movie Weapons. Now, this movie, I wouldn't call it. I know it's kind of listed as a supernatural horror flick or a psychological horror flick. I definitely think that it is a suspense thriller. It's definitely psychological, and it's a little bit creepy and a little bit weird. It's not a big gore fest or anything like that, but it is really, really well done and pretty unpredictable, and at the same time has some recognizable and familiar actors that are actors that I've liked a lot of stuff that they've done. I'm a big fan of the show that Jason Bateman did called Ozark, which is a Netflix show. One of the coming out stars from that show was the actress that is in Weapons, Julia Garner. So Julia Garner kind of played this tough sort of redneck girl from the Ozark Mountains that ended up being just one of the strongest characters of the whole show. Josh Brolin is also in Weapons, and this show has, as the subject matter, kids are a part of the subject matter, so that makes it a little bit creepier, a little bit weird as well. But also just to let you know, if you haven't heard me talk about movies before, particularly horror movies, I am not a fan of just gross stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff online about the most shocking movie or the most horrible movie you've ever seen or the movie that you'll never want to see again. Weapons is actually a movie that I'm interested in looking at again, because I want to try to catch some things that I didn't catch before. So I am not a fan of some of these films that you see listed, and I've read, there's probably, 8 or 10 films that I've read about that are just supposed to be the most terrible films ever made, and I have no desire to see those. I've read enough. It's like, yeah, I'm not interested. So I'm not into shock factor for the sake of, something that's going to make me sick or that's going to make me, want to throw up, or something that's going to just haunt me forever. With the levels of gore, but Weapons is a movie that it definitely is a little bit psychological. It's a little bit creepy, but it is really, really well done, really well acted, and just really well put together. I thought the plot, the writing, the acting, the way it's filmed. There's a lot of camera angles and things in the movie that are unique and really, really, really good. So Weapons is probably one of them from 2025. I want to mention a couple of others. There's another movie that actually was a couple of years ago that I did talk about on the Coach Rob show at the time, called Strange Darling. Strange Darling is something that I would highly recommend if you are kind of into psychological drama, but also kind of a lot of plot twists and a lot of stuff that you don't really know what's going on. It's also filmed in chapters, and the chapters are presented not in chronological order. So you're actually sort of piecing it together a little bit like Pulp Fiction did. You've got just different chapters that are, out of order, and you're sort of on the edge of your seat and not really clear on who the characters are. And so that's sort of being revealed, and you're sort of putting a puzzle together as you go along. So that's another great one. I'd recommend Strange Darling. There's one more that I want to mention that I watched recently that I thought was really good, and it's a very old movie from 1947. It's called Out of the Past. The movie is available actually on Hulu, or on you can buy it on Prime, but if you have Hulu on Disney, or if you have the HBO Max edition on Prime, then it's free. But it's called Out of the Past. It stars Robert Mitchum and Jane Greer. Robert Mitchum is one of those older actors that I learned about him in the 90s when he was an older actor and did The Winds of War, and I never really understood what a star he was back in the 50s in particular, and kind of rose up to stardom in the 40s. But Robert Mitchum is great. This is another kind of the 40s version of the same stuff that I'm talking about with Strange Darling or with Weapons. And this is a kind of a mystery of how things get put together. The characters, you're not really sure what they're up to and who they really are. I think film noir is probably the right genre that you would place on this, but it's got a really good rating on IMDb. By the way, IMDb.com. If you love movies or you love shows, and want to keep up with actors or look up what they've done over the years, it's a go-to app for your phone or a website that I would recommend. So anyway, we're going to get a little bit more into Christmas movies as we get closer to the holidays, and we'll talk more about Christmas movies to come, but I wanted to mention those three this week. But that's it for this week. Thanks for being with us here on the Coach Rob Show. Look forward to seeing you next time.